Host David Liddell. We're going to talk about some sports and some sports cards today. Rundown of our topics for this show are going to be all about our sports coming back. We have a little bit about The Last Dance, a little bit about Michael Jordan, 1986 Fleer cards, and a little bit about Mike Trout. So, and a ton of stuff in between. We got a pretty good show today. So, let's get to it. so far, baseball season. July is the new month that they're coming up with. They keep pushing it back, but some date is better than no date. So, hopefully baseball starts up here soon and the baseball unions are able to come to an agreement with their players and the MLB itself. Football so far on course, which would be perfect. At least we have something to look forward to, and they haven't come up with any changes yet. So that's great news. And for basketball, no good solutions yet. The cruise ships are not going to be the final plan for the NBA, unfortunately. And the thing that kind of sucks is nobody else is coming up with any better ideas. So if you have a better idea, throw it, float it towards the NBA. They need to do something. Sports need to come back. It's really unfortunate with this COVID-19 thing. It's just kind of reverting us a bit, back to a point we haven't been to in a very long time. No one knows what to do with themselves at home, and everyone's running out of Netflix shows to watch. So, I think the only thing really going on right now is Korean baseball. I'm a big NC Dinos fan. Go Swole Daddy. So, other sports news. The Last Dance. Amazing 10-part documentary. Was supposed to air every other week, I believe, during the NBA finals. But obviously, instead, they decided to air them every week, 2 episodes every Sunday. And wow, just an amazing amount of information that I myself have never heard and, I didn't grow up with. So just an amazing documentary altogether. So, that being said, during the documentary, we heard a little bit about the Jordan Rules, which was a book that was published in 1992 and was essentially all about the Bulls and how Michael Jordan was the reason behind a lot of the Bulls' misfortunes, unfortunately. And it was put out by CBS Sports. It was an article highlighting an interview that Sam Smith did on 95.7 The Games. And he said stuff like, one of the most lasting revelations from the documentary came at the end of the final episodes when Jordan said that he wanted to return to the Chicago Bulls after winning the 1998 title, but the organization decided to commence a rebuild instead. Sam Smith says that that's a complete lie, and that Sam Smith said Jordan wanting to return for the 98-99 season, there were several things in the documentary that I saw I would know that he made up and he lied about. They weren't major things, but it was like when a TV movie comes on and they say they base this on a true story, and that's what it was. It was based on a true story. Sam Smith goes on to say, Jerry Krause, it's a lockout. It might last a while. Just wait. Maybe Phil Jackson will change his mind. And there's no hurry, Sam Smith said. Jordan says, no, I'm done. I don't want to be around these guys anymore. I had to carry us down the stretch. Pippen couldn't play in Game 6 because his back was hurt. He's limping around. Dennis is crazy. And if Michael wants to stay, there was enough team to stay with. And he later goes on to talk about how Tony Kukoc, Brent Barry in free agency, and the rest of the coaching staff would have stayed with the Bulls even if Michael had chosen to stay, as if that was going to be a good enough team for Michael to stay with. Tony Kukoc is, good in his own right, and Brent Barry has, his place in history, but nowhere near the matchup that Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Michael Jordan, and even Steve Kerr, brought to the Bulls the previous 3 years to make it that three-peat national championship. So my question to Sam Smith is, why now? Why is it just now that this information is coming out, and why wasn't he in the documentary in the first place? It's not as if Michael Jordan was the only one editing the documentary. It was a ESPN funded documentary, so it makes no sense to me that it would be up to Michael Jordan whether or not Sam Smith was in the documentary or not. There was plenty of people in the documentary that Michael Jordan doesn't associate himself with anymore, and it just begs the question, where was Sam Smith? So that's something that's been really bothering me lately about reading this really recent article about Sam Smith's quotes about the Last Dance. Last Dance's effect on other parts of our daily life, including sports cards. So another thing that I'm going to be talking a lot about on this podcast is anything basketball, specifically Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen cards. They're Michael Jordan's 1986 Fleer card, Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen's 88 Fleer cards are going through the roof, as expected. We're starting to call it the documentary effect. And similarly, coming up here pretty soon, everyone's getting ready for the ESPN 30 for 30 Long Gone Summer about the rivalry between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa for the home run contest. So that comes out on June 14th. I'm really looking forward to that myself. But is it going to last is my question, because it seems as though all of the cards, Michael Jordan's 86 Fleer, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen's 88 Fleer rookies are steadily heading downward. And it's, it seems to be the new fad that as soon as something big happens in sports, or a documentary comes out, or someone promotes a certain player or something of that sort, cards start to fly away. Specifically, and I know you all have certain opinions about this human being, the Gary Vee Effect. He is, making his way into the hobby, and he's obviously already here, but he's making more waves than anyone else thought he would. He's promoting certain players, and as an effect of that, everyone's calling it the Gary Vee Effect, and everything on eBay associated with that player goes up. And what's wrong with that, in my opinion? The guy is just like anybody else. He enjoys collecting, and, well, like a lot of us, he uses it as a business, and he just had a lot more capital to work with as far as loading up on what he believes is, good stock. That's what a lot of people, call young players, young rookies, is good stock, rising stock. So, he just decided to take it to a whole new level and give people a good idea, a good foundation of what to start collecting, to hold on to invest in. So, everyone else has their opinions about Gary Vee, but, as soon as he endorses somebody, they're stock or their price, so their cards, subsequently have an increase. And if that means anything in the hobby, I mean, I couldn't see anything better happening because, everyone sees it as a business already, and there's the true hobbyists out there, the collectors. But if you, aim to make money, if you do box breaks, if you have, tons of cards that you buy and resell, then you're in the same boat. You're just doing it at a lesser level. So give Gary Vee a chance here. Give him some leeway. He's just doing, what any smart businessman would do. He, you know, took advantage of a market when it was open and vulnerable for um, him to exploit in his own way. And that sort of brings us around to eBay shilling. And I'm not just talking about PWCC and the Probstein, ongoing investigations of using fake eBay accounts or Probstein or PWCC employee accounts to bid up on cards. I'm talking about just your average Joe who decides to, get him and a bunch of guys together, and they say, well, we're going to help you sell this card for, more than it's worth. And, if it ends up going to somebody who bought it for way too much money, then great. And if they sell it to their friend, they can relist it, especially ungraded cards. So it's all that much easier to control the market in that way. And what else is in the news? So, as a lot of you know, the new Bowman came out not too long ago, and it seems Gary Vee has, going backtracking a little bit, but Gary Vee has his own parallels now. I believe they're numbered out of 55, and they're on the back. Look at the back of the packs. I think it's listed at the very bottom. It's like a 1 to 5,800 chance of pulling one, but you can get a Gary Vee parallel, and I believe it just has a little signature up in the top left of the card, his signature, and that just shows you how big he is in the hobby right now. But back to the eBay shilling and the market manipulation. I mean, it's just everywhere now, and it's not just with big name guys, but Mike Trout, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, anybody who's big money right now is being manipulated in the market. I mean, just take a look at the sold listings on eBay. Specifically, the last several weeks with Patrick Mahomes Prism rookie card. Some people may not know this, but every single rookie out of the 2017 Prism rookie set was a refractor. So essentially, you're getting a base card for $400 to $900 now, because that's how wild the prices have been lately. They've just been up and down, and it's been pretty ridiculous, especially with no real plans on a season coming up. But you can see it everywhere, like I said, with like Mike Trout. Mike Trout's on an insane climb right now. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I tried to buy myself a update RC of Mike Trout, and they were hovering around the $700 to $800 range. And I was like, I just want one for my collection. And now you can't get one for any less than $1,000. And don't even get me started about the graded ones. I mean, a PSA 10's going for over $3,000 now. It's ridiculous. And I'm having a real hard time getting behind these card prices, and I'm really curious when they're gonna plummet, because I don't believe that these prices are sustainable whatsoever. I'd like to give a big shout out to everyone at Super Sports Card and More, Justin, Dave Blackwell, and the family. and the rest of the great crew that they have over at Super Sports Cards and more. Go check out their Facebook page. They do tons of card breaks and good sales over there, single sales, and shipping is always $3. I'm pretty sure. Justin always likes to brag about that. So go check them out over at Super Sports Cards and more. I couldn't recommend a card shop more. They're the group that got me into collecting the way that I do today, and I hope that they can help you get to where you want to go into your collecting. I'd also like to take this time to give a big shout out to Jim Peters over at Lucky Breaks. He does an amazing job, him and his crew. He's a well known name in the business, and everyone likes Jim. So go check him out over at Lucky Breaks, his Facebook page as well, and go get lucky. I'd also like to take this time to give my group, Breaktime, Buy, Sell, Trade, and Breaks, a shout out. We got about 86 members right now, and as soon as we hit 100, I got a $20 raffle going to one lucky winner, and after that, I got more coming. I've been working on my podcast here pretty diligently. I've been in the works of getting myself a business license so I can start buying cases of cards and doing breaks in the group. So stay tuned for more. Also, go say hi to Jay Racha over at his group. He says that he's got a 2-box mixer of 2019 football and 2019 artifacts on the way. So go check out his group. I couldn't recommend him more.